I'm going to tell two stories that this picture reminds me of. But before I start the stories, I would like each person to put in the chat their favorite animal and why they chose that animal. Put in the chat your favorite animal and the reason you chose the animal. There's no right or wrong answer. Somebody's favorite animal may be your worst animal. So just put in the chat your favorite animal and why you chose that animal. We have 1 minute for that, please. Thank you, Mr. Smart. I'm seeing some coming up. Thank you, Cynthia. I need to know why you love zebras, Cynthia. So I'm waiting. Your animals? Okay, Miss Fatima says it's a giraffe. Thank you, Miss Esther. And goats. Wow, thank you. Thank you, Adira. Thank you, Victoria. Oh, thank you, Louis. Mice can't be very smart. Thank you, Kayode.
Rasheedah, you can unmute yourself. I muted all because of the background noise. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. So I'm going to start my story. Thank you, Olaniro, and others that are putting in the chat. I'm going to start the story now. Do feel free to keep adding your favorite animal if you want to. So the first story takes place in the Indian jungle. There once was a wise old man who loved to travel from town to town and from village to village, seeking knowledge and sharing his knowledge. One day, when he was on his way from one town to another, he noticed a clearing in the forest and he wondered what was going on. So he moved closer and he saw huge, majestic elephants that were tied onto a stake. He took some time to stare at the animals and he wondered why they stayed stuck onto the stake. He wondered why they didn't break loose. As he stared, he saw their keeper. So he called upon the man. He said, "Elephant keeper, why do these elephants stay here tied to the stake and they don't move? Don't they know they're strong enough to break free?" And the elephant keeper laughed and said to him, "Well, ever since they were little cubs, we tied them onto the stakes. And they tried to escape, and they tried to escape, and they never succeeded. And after some time, they stopped trying. Even when they grew bigger and they were strong enough to break free, they didn't know they could because they stopped trying." That's my first story. I'd like everyone to please put in the chat what they've learned from that story. I'm waiting. What did we learn from this story? You can type in the chat. Just one thing that struck you from this story. Resilience. Yes. We may talk about it. Move out of your comfort zone. Thank you, Miss Fatima. Mr. Smart. The chain of the mind. Human beings
Well, I
have
want
control over animals. Yes, Miss Victoria. Do not give up no matter the challenges. Thank you, Babajide. So we're learning a variety of things from that short story. The chain of tether left the physical mind into the mind of the elephant. I like that quote. Growth mindset. Yes, Cynthia. All right. So just let's think about it while I start my second story. Let me wait for Arida Diras just for a minute. If you believe you cannot do something, whether of your own belief or because of the discouragement of others, you will not accomplish it. Mr. Leela, our mindset. Oh, beautiful. My work is almost done. I love stories because you learn so much. Okay, so the second story now. This story is set in the African jungle. And well, just like we know, the elephant is majestic, it's regal, it's huge. And well, with the elephant, with the lion, they do struggle over who's actually the king of the jungle. There once was a huge a huge elephant. And he was not only huge and strong, he was also very proud and arrogant. And he loved to bully all the other animals in the jungle. He was such a horrible person that he insisted that whenever he was coming, people should like leave the road for him. So you can just imagine, him trumpeting down and all the other animals having to scuttle and scurry away. And anyone who refused to do this was in big soup because he would push, he would trample, he would stomp. One day, he was walking majestically as he always does. And he noticed some ants marching just by the side of the track. And he just looked at them and wondered, these rude ants, didn't they see me coming? Can't they feel the earth trembling with my might? And they're just marching on as if nothing is going on. So he decided to leave the path where he was walking and move to where the ants were. And he trumpeted loudly and he said to them, you puny ants, you'd better leave this place immediately, or else I will trample you to death. Well, the leader of the ants, even though he was tiny, was quite upset. And he stood up to the elephant and he said to him, away from this arrogant elephant. So they did move away. But the leader of the ants was really quite upset with the elephant and he hatched a plan. One day, while the elephant was snoozing and resting beside a huge tree, the leader of the ants crept silently into the elephant's trunk. He crept and crept and crept, and he crept way up. And then he started to sting. He stung him, and the elephant felt something. What's that? He thought. The ant didn't stop. He stung again, and he stung again. And by now, the elephant was getting really frantic. He got up and stomped and shook his head. But he was still feeling the ant stinging, and it was really painful. He started to scratch his trunk on the tree. He started to bump his head against the tree, trying to dislodge the ant. But the ant held on and kept on stinging, and the elephant started crying. Please come out! Please come out! Stop it! Stop it! Please come out! I'm going to stop my story here, and I'll allow you all to finish however you want. Did the ant come out? Did he stop singing? What do you think? Now I'll give another 30 seconds for everyone to just put in the chat what they learned from the second story. Thank you, Fernando, for that. Mr. Rinze, you are so correct. I love stories because they're awesome for teaching. Yes, so what did we learn from the second story? Self-worth. Thank you. Do not underrate anyone. Awesome lesson. Self-worth. I love that. So many things can be said about self-worth. I'm waiting for more answers. What did we learn? We have a few more seconds. Thank you, Adira. Do not allow others to define you or limit your potential. I love that. The ant showed us. Focus on your goal. Believe in yourself. Never give up. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Pride goes before a fall. A nice lesson there. Identify your potentials. Right. I love that we're able to learn from each other because some of the things I never thought of regarding the stories we're bringing up here. Thank you, everyone. All right, Miss Fatima, can you please take me to the next slide? Tell yourself, okay, we're gonna get there. Always have confidence and believe in yourself no matter the obstacles. I'm so happy that my stories have done my job for me. So this is a topic that I was given, the power in you. And from the two stories, we've seen a lot about power, how we have it and how we think we don't have it. And the main purpose of coming here today is to tell every one of us here, all 33 of us, that you do have the power in you. You have the power to do whatever you want to do, to be whoever you want to be. You have the power. It may not seem that way, and it's true that we're all different. We have different opportunities. Some of us didn't have enough of a good background, and some of us are better off because we had an earlier start. Some of us are better off because we're well there. Some of us are better off because maybe we belong to a particular group or the other. But the fact remains that the power is in everyone, and it's each and every one of us. So for this slide, I'd just like each person to take a few seconds to think about it. What is one thing that you've always wanted to do, but you feel that you cannot, or you've been afraid to do? If you're comfortable, put that in the chat. If you're not comfortable sharing with us, just put it in your jotter somewhere. 30 seconds. Okay, I may have to make it 1 minute because it seems to take a while for us to type up. So 1 minute. Take some thought, right? So while we're writing and thinking, let me just share a bit of the background for why we came up with this topic. Coding. Somebody's afraid to start coding. Somebody's afraid to start teaching online. Yes. So part of the background to this topic was an article I wrote. Fear of the unknown. Now that's always going to be there. Let me see, I think I missed the chat. Okay. Traveling, failure. All right. Thank you for sharing, for all those that shared. So I wrote an article titled The Power in My Hands. And that article just talked about the fact that I haven't always been a good writer. Somebody's talking about public speaking. Oh, I feel you. Now, I've been lucky
that I've always been good at speaking. I've always known how to manipulate my words. I've always liked actually addressing a crowd. Once I have something to say, I'm happy to share it. And I think that's one of the reasons I became a teacher. So speaking has always been good for me. Listening has always been good for me. I love reading, but when it comes to writing, when I was younger, I used to feel a bit lazy about it. And even when I started, I just realized that my writing was never as powerful as my speaking. So at that point in time, in my secondary school, I just decided that, okay, maybe writing is not for me. I'm not going to bother with that. I will focus on speaking as a means of sharing things. But recently, sometimes when you read a lot, you just realize that the progression from reading, if you're growing, is that you should write. So I decided that I wanted to learn to write or write well, because yes, I teach English. I am an English teacher. So it's not as if I don't know how to write, but I wanted to write something that would pass my message and I would be comfortable and confident that I've done a good job. But in my mind, I knew that I wasn't a good writer. So I took some steps. But the first step for me, I think, was that decision that I made that I want to become a writer. I'm not going to say, oh, this is not for me, because then it was like, okay, writing is not for me. Let me go to what I'm good at. But I decided, no, I want to be a writer. I want to do all I can to be a writer. And that was the first step for me. So I hope that in some way just helps us to understand that once you decide, once you know what you want to do, that's the most important power. When you believe in yourself, we listen to the story that the ant believed in his power and he was able to show that elephant, you know. So thank you to everybody that shared. Now I just want to look at some things that affects us, that stops us. So those of us that want to go into coding, into online teaching, into public speaking, into the unknown that we don't want to share here, but it's unknown to us, into the new things that we have in our minds, into writing like I did. What is stopping you? Ms. Fatima, let's have the next slide, please. Thank you. The first thing that I know that stops a lot of us is what we call limiting beliefs. That belief that I can't do it. I'm not good enough. I must be perfect. Those are some of the things that stop us. So I know my writing isn't as good as I wish, and I just allowed that to stop me. That rather than, somebody said fear of embarrassment, rather than allowing people to make fun of me or to judge me based on the quality of my work or the lack of quality, I'd rather not do it. We're allowing those beliefs to take away our power. And one thing I know is that the beliefs come from two major sources. The first one is our self-talk. So a lot of times we are the ones putting ourselves down. Like nobody's putting us down. People even believe in us, they will support us. But before we don't even give them the chance to do that. We put ourselves down. We already say we're not good enough. We already say we can't do it. That's one set. There's another aspect of what gives us limiting beliefs is what people around us say. And especially when we are younger. And this is one thing I want to appeal to us as teachers, to be careful with our words around children and as parents. Be careful with your words because your words are powerful and your words may be the source of stunting the children's growth, because then they start to believe those negative words you used on them. And I love what Ms. Fatima said about positivity always. You don't put yourself down. There are enough people out there to put you down. Don't put yourself down. And then don't be one of those that will be putting others down. Sometimes you already look at some children and we like, oh, this guy can never be good at math. Amina, she's come again. Oh, she's always talking too much. She never does her assignments. Oh, you want to draw? Ha 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 ha. You know, we make fun. And yes, the first drawing looked like a yam instead of a map. But why would you laugh as a teacher? Why would you say, oh, you can never be a good artist, even if the person's work is awful? Words have power. Thank you, Adira. Words have power. Even if that word is awful, there's a way to be kind, even in feedback. So we don't want you to tell lies. One of my co-teachers was like, you don't want us to tell the children the truth. No, it's not about telling lies. It's about how can you support and encourage and help them to become better at that which they love, because they love it. A child that comes to you and says, I want to be a football star, for example, I want to be a racetrack, I want to be like what's this lady that just won the 100 meters? I want to be like her. And then you're like, oh, you that you can't walk 10 meters without tripping over your own feet, you never be a runner. You don't do that to a child. You find a way to say, oh, that's interesting. I think you can practice more. I think you should talk to so person. You know, that's the way to go. So these are the sources of our limiting beliefs. And some of us have had them forever. We've had people in our family tell us that you are so dirty, you are not ladylike, you're never going to be this. Sometimes they don't even mean it in a bad way. I know that a lot of Africans tend to use such negative talk to try to motivate us. So to them, they are trying to help us. They're like, if you can never do well. And because it works for some people, they tell you can never do well, and you're able to do well because you want to go against what they're saying. But for some other people, they internalize that and they don't do well because of the negative talk, because of the negativity, and they internalize those limiting beliefs. All right. So I noticed that the slides have stopped. I want to see if I can share them from my end. So let's just think back while I'm trying to find the slides. Have there or are there any of such limiting beliefs that are holding you back, that you have either put upon yourself or you've gotten from people in your childhood, your teachers, your parents, your aunties, your siblings? What have they labeled you with that you have internalized? Try to take note of that. You don't have to share that, but it's just getting you more aware of the fact that these limiting beliefs are part of the things that are holding back the power that you have. They are part of the things holding back the power that you have. Okay, I'm seeing some chats. Let me try to read them. Thank you, Ernest. Yes, yes, and yes. We are so afraid of failure, and we've been made to be afraid of failure. We don't even take risks because anybody that has failed once is sometimes looked upon as if they failed. They're a failure. I mean, you feel that something doesn't make you a failure. You are even better than those that didn't try. You know, so that's the way we should look at it. Right. That's the way we should look at it. Okay, Ms. Fatima, thank you. Thank you for sharing. Again, can we have the next slide, please? Right. So this is something that we can use to buy back our power. Self-confidence. So what exactly is self-confidence? Can somebody put in the chat what they understand by that concept of self-confidence, please? Or if you want to unmute, this is a good time. You can just raise your hand and tell us what you understand by self-confidence. Okay, thank you, Carrie. Glory, it says believing in oneself. Yes. Any other thing? All right. So for you to, I'll still take more if they come in. For you to have self-confidence, you do need to believe in yourself. And you need to know who you are. Trusting in oneself. Thank you, Victoria. You need to know who you are. And that's why I put up the SWOT. And I know that we've come across the SWOT time and again. But I think we should also take some time today, just write, feeling that yes, you can. Thank you, Ernest. Just write either in the chats or in your jotter. One strength. Thank you, Aminat. Being aware of yourself. Yes, for you to be confident, you have to be aware of everything that makes you, of what you entail. Yes. So just write either in the chats or in your jotter, one strength and one weakness. Thank you, Mr. Smart. Believing in oneself to the point of taking steps. Right. One strength and one weakness. Put it in your jotter. I'll put it in the chat for us. So what is the strength? Those are those things that make you stand out. Now, you need some of these things to really bring out that power in you, to try to help you to identify, what you can do. So some of us did write down those things that we wanted to do. So for example, if I'm using my example of I want to write, but I'm afraid, I have to look at what are my strengths. One of my strengths is that I'm good with words. I know I'm good with words. I have a good vocabulary. I have good grammar. I have a good grasp of the English language. But what is my weakness? Now I'm going to confess. So one of my weaknesses, I think, was about laziness. I sometimes, I'm just too lazy to write down or to type down. Another thing I found that was a weakness for me was brevity. So sometimes when I want to write, I end up not being able to meet up to the word count I would wish. Those were some of my weaknesses regarding the writing. So what did I do? What you do with your strengths is that you play on those strengths, you work with those strengths, and then you try to minimize your weaknesses. You try to correct your weaknesses. So sometimes, I mean, if I was someone that was good speaking, but I was bad with grammar, I would look for a teacher to teach me, to take me on. So for me, with my weaknesses, I actually did two things. I went to study writing, and then I enrolled in classes, I enrolled in challenges. When I enrolled in a writing challenge, with the writing challenge is like a 1-week challenge or a 2-week challenge, because I'm part of a challenge, there's an accountability group. That laziness aspect, in quote, goes away. I'm forced to write. So even if I don't meet up to all the 14 days, I would probably write 7 days, which is much more than maybe one article I would have written otherwise if I wasn't part of that. Another thing that I found out was because I tend to be very brief when I'm writing, but I can speak for 10 minutes on the same topic nonstop, and 10 minutes would generate almost 1,000 words for me, is that I started recording and using speech to text. So I'd record my words as I would say them. Now, spoken word is not exactly the same as written word, but after recording the words and having them transcribed with speech to text, then I go over it again and then make it a bit more formal if it's going to be a formal write-up. So those were the ways I was able to, after identifying my weaknesses, try to strengthen them. So I'm seeing something in the chat. Thank you for sharing, Margot. Yes. Awesome. So you've identified that. So what can you do with that? And how can you work on your weakness? What can you do? Can you ever stop being a perfectionist? Or if you can't stop being a perfectionist, can you stop being mad at people? Are there tools you can use to help you? Are there people that can help you to overcome that weakness? So this is what we need to look at. And then we need to take hold of the opportunities that we have. So for me, anytime I see a writing challenge coming up, I grab it, especially if it's free. For those that are paid, I weigh. Then I look at the threats. With regards to writing, I don't have any particular threats, but for some of us that are maybe going into business, we're talking about online tutoring. What are the possible threats? Even something as simple as, okay, if I'm able to work on my strengths, overcome my weaknesses, and take opportunities and get to tutor children online in the US or the UK, one of the threats to me would be, how do I get the dollars into my Nigerian account? So then I have to start thinking of, okay, how can I overcome that obstacle? Do I get a dollar account? Do I get a friend that lives in the US or the UK to collect my money? Do I open a PayPal through someone else? You start thinking of what are the possibilities? What are the ways that you can overcome those obstacles? Thank you, Harry, also for sharing with us. Very good creative writing skills, weakness, procrastination. Awesome. So just like me, my procrastination and laziness in quote are linked. What can you do? Do you need an accountability partner? Do you need a coach? What do you need and how can you get it? So that power in you, once you are able to identify these 4, then your confidence grows. Then you become more ready to bring out the power. Yes, someone is sharing here. Thank you for sharing. Someone's strength is good speaking. The weakness is shyness. Awesome. So what can you do? Can you decide to start speaking when there's no audience, just to start? So if it's just you and your phone, there's nobody to be shy of. And then you start posting, and then you start gradually improving. You speak in front of two people who are friends, you speak in front of us as the black belts, we're your friends, and then you grow to a wider audience. How can you balance these? Victoria says her strength is reading, sharing experiences, weakness, fear of the unknown. Awesome. So sometimes for the fear, you may need to talk to a coach or a therapist or a mentor. Why are you afraid? You know, things like that. It's not something we can handle today, but the beautiful thing is that once you've identified the weakness, once you've identified the threat, then you can take steps to start overcoming it. And you can really, really bring out that power in you. So Ms. Fatima, can we have the next slide, please? I just want to look into what self-confidence is. Okay, I'm getting some more strengths here. Thank you. Oh, okay. Before I go into what self-confidence is, this is another thing that affects us and that dampens our power, that limits our power. It's something called imposter syndrome. It's something, oh, thank you, Nafisa. Procrastination does kill dreams, and it happens to a lot of us for different reasons. What is imposter syndrome? So it says here simply that imposter syndrome is feeling that you're not worthy of your success. And truth be told, it happens to everyone. Everyone. I don't think there's any successful person here at one point or the other in their life that hasn't had it go through their mind that, oh, I'm not being worthy of this. Now, some people feel it more than others, and those that have it regularly are those that are allowing you to stop their progress. But if you have it and you are able to just fight against that thought and just go with the power you have, you don't have to be perfect. Some people have that because they feel they need to be perfect. And I'll give you an example. I feel I'm a confident person, but once in a while, I have suffered imposter syndrome. And sometimes it's good to be vulnerable and just for us to understand. So I love language. I've always loved languages, and I've always loved teaching. And I used to be a practicing veterinary doctor, and I decided that I wasn't going to practice veterinary medicine anymore. I was going to become a teacher. And I did become a teacher. I started teaching, and I was doing well. I was having a lot of fun in the classroom, and I loved the teaching. Then I wanted to start teaching English, and I know, without being proud, that my English is better than that of a number of English teachers out there that even studied English language. But I was having that thought in my mind that it's not all about the phonics and the phonetics. You didn't study English, you're a fraud. And I allowed it to hold me back for a while, but I didn't allow it to hold me back forever, because I then decided, okay, you're not a fraud, but how are you going to get a certificate that's going to support your claim to being a good English teacher? And that was just how I took the next step. I decided to take the CELTA. The CELTA is a certificate in English language teaching to adults, and some other courses on Coursera. You know, I took a number of courses, and I have the certificate to back that I'm an English teacher now. But I did learn a lot of new things, but it didn't take away from how good I was. So sometimes we allow those things to keep us down, and it kept me back for a while, because the CELTA is not a course you can take. Okay, now they're having online CELTA, but when I took the CELTA, it had to be a physical course. You had to travel. I mean, there were three possible places I could take it at the time. In short, four, because I was thinking, okay, I could go to South Africa, I could go to Egypt, I could go to Dubai, or I could go to the UK. Now that's an expensive venture. And then the money for the course itself, you know, all of that. But if I had allowed it to stop me, maybe I wouldn't have even become a teacher today. So it crossed my mind, yes, but I didn't allow it to stop me. So these are some of the thoughts that sometimes we have. I'm a fraud. I'm not a real English teacher because I don't have a teaching certificate in English language. Oh, it was just luck. I just work hard. So, you know, yes, you acknowledge that you worked hard, but you still don't believe that this is an award ceremony. So you don't believe that you need to be selected from the others. And sometimes it's not as if you're more special than the others, but you do deserve any accolades that you get. You know, and a lot of us struggle with it. Sometimes I struggle with it, but when you know yourself and as you grow, you realize that, yes, these accolades, I deserve it. The way I look at it personally is that means I still have to keep working hard. That means I have to make sure that I justify receiving this accolade. But I don't beat myself up and start feeling bad that I received an award, because I did work for it. Some other people just say, oh, it could have been anyone. And it's true, it could have been anyone, but it was you. So why should you downplay it? Positivity always, confidence always, self-belief always. And then there's that fear. They'll find me out. I'm a fraud. So I will admit also that at a point, I wanted to become an emotional intelligence coach. And what claim did I have to this? I just felt I was relatively emotionally intelligent and I wanted to share this with others. But I was also afraid. Oh, what does it mean to be a coach? Okay, I know what it is to be a coach and I can coach, but I'm not a therapist. Now, can I go into emotional intelligence without being a therapist? Am I not overstepping what I can do? So that also crossed my mind. And let me not tell a lie, even though I am in that space now as an emotional intelligence coach, that is part of what is still slowing me down. But I know that when I'm ready, I have that power. People that don't have enough knowledge as I do, as much knowledge as I do, are in that space. They're claiming to be coaches and they're claiming to be mentors and they're claiming to be whatever. So, sometimes you are just your worst enemy. Don't beat yourself down. And a lot of times we actually learn on the job. So let's bring out that power. Let's start what we want to do. Let's not allow anything to really keep us back. Okay, somebody has received offers to teach online, but is still afraid. So Mr. Eslan, please, after today, just dig into that power and go first. And if you do have threats or weaknesses that you think you need to address, look for the people that can help you out with them. Thank you. Ms. Fasma, can I have the next slide, please? Thank you very much. So here I wanted to look at the types of self-confidence. So is that confidence in yourself? And it's linked to self-esteem, it's linked to self-belief. We all want to be in the middle here, where we trust in our abilities. We believe in ourselves. The ant believed in itself. Whereas the big elephants that were tied to the stakes, they were lacking in confidence. They didn't even try anymore. If you're self-confident, you are secure, and sometimes it's our fear of failure that stops us from trying new things. And here it is.
Sorry, I had to mute all because there was some background noise.
Yes,
there
ma'am.
was some music, so I muted everyone.
All right, thank you. When you're self-confident, you understand your strengths and weaknesses. So you don't overshoot yourself. You don't oversell yourself for what you cannot do. And at the same time, you don't undersell yourself. A lot of us tend to undersell ourselves. And on the other spectrum are those that are overconfident and they promise what they cannot do. But if you have optimum self-confidence, you know your weaknesses. You've studied yourself. You know your SWOT. And then if you're self-confident, you can work well with others. Some of us find it difficult to work with others. We're afraid. Sometimes we're afraid that this person is going to show me up because this person is likely to know more than I do. Sometimes we're afraid because we just want to do it all alone. We want to take all the glory. But that's not what happens. When you're confident, you don't mind working with others. You don't mind being part of a team because you know that teamwork actually brings improvement. Now, low self-confidence. Some of us lack that confidence. We're always feeling inadequate. We're always feeling that we're not enough. We're feeling incompetent. Some of us fear of failure. It comes over and over and over again. And if you're not ready to fail, you cannot learn. Somebody says fail is first attempt in learning. If you're not ready to fail, you cannot learn. And sometimes our education system does not prepare us to fail. We look down on those that fail. Why did you fail? How did you fail? How can you fail? So let's look at that. As teachers, what are we doing to our students and what are we doing to ourselves? Constant criticism of self. That's low self-confidence. I'm not good enough. Oh, it's not good. Perfectionism is linked to this. And then fear of the unknown. That will always be there. So yes, it's there, but don't fear it. Embrace it. Take calculated risks. Don't be, sometimes when we fear the unknown, yes, we have reason to be afraid, but then we should take calculated risks so that we don't overexpose ourselves. We are not reckless, And then there are the overconfident people. Nobody likes somebody that's a braggart and is arrogant. There's a sense of arrogance. So that was that elephant, really just arrogant, looking down on others, believing that they were the all and the best. Yes, you can be good, and it's good to know your abilities and be confident in your abilities, but you should not look down on others. And that's where the overconfidence comes in. Disregards others, overestimates abilities, bad listening skills, is not ready to listen to anyone. Inability to be a good team player, we talked about that. Always miss opportunities, because some of us just miss opportunities because we are overconfident. I don't need your help. I don't need that opportunity. I can make it on my own. And then overconfident people are reckless. They take unnecessary risks. So we, as confident people, we that want to bring out the power within us, we need to be in the middle. We need to strike a balance. We're taking calculated risks. We're not afraid to fail. We're not afraid to try new things. That's where we should be. Next, please. Next slide, please. Thank you. Okay, so the next few slides are some things that I think that we can do to boost our self-confidence, to bring out that power in us. You know, the very first thing I said was that you need to make up your mind. You need to decide. So can we have the first slide, please? Or the next slide, rather. Aha, mindset. You have to believe that you can do it. And in the field of education, I don't know if we've come across it. There was a lady, Carol Dweck, who talked about growth mindset and fixed mindset. So I would like those of us that haven't heard of it after this meeting to go and look into it. A lot of it is a repetition of what we've already said, but those that have a fixed mindset are afraid to fail. They believe that learning is, or knowledge or skills are inborn. They don't know how to, they don't want to learn new things. They're afraid to try. But those that have a growth mindset, they believe they can do it. Even if they can't do it now, they believe they can do it. They're ready to take feedback. They're ready to grow. So you have to work on your mindset. You have to be ready to bring out that power in you. You have to believe that you can do it. A can-do attitude is the first and most important thing that you need to become confident and to bring out the power in you. Next slide, please. Okay, another thing you need to do is stop comparing yourself with others. You are you and they are them. Even if you were twins, my two apples look relatively similar, but they're not the same. There's a difference. And we have different skills, we have different gifts. We're sent to the world for different purposes. So not everybody is going to be a Mr. Hakim, the CEO. Some of us are going to be the foot soldiers, but we're just as important. Not everybody is going to be the head of school. Not everybody is going to become a principal, but we want to grow in our own capacity. And that's one thing I also want to say at this point. Some of us believe that, you know, we're talking about, yes, growth mindset. Thank you so much, Ms. Fatima, for reminding us about that. So that means we've all come across it. Those of us that are here, we've all come across it. So some of us may not be anything else other than classroom teachers, but we brought out the power in us because of the things that we pass on to the children. We are so powerful. That's one of the reasons I love teaching. Every day I look at the children and I believe I'm making an impact in each child's life, and I know I'm so powerful. I have this reading program I do, the NGO, the mobile reading room. There was a particular day we went to a community, and normally we have 25, 40, 50 children, and that day 5 children showed up. Initially I was wondering, like, what's happening? But I couldn't be sad. I was happy to be there for that one child. Even if it was just one child that showed up, I knew that I was making a difference in that one child. So it's not all of us that are going to be internet sensations. It's not all of us that are going to be YouTube gurus. But whatever niche you put yourself, just be as strong as you can be there. One of the things we are putting out here is not that everybody needs to become everything or become famous, but don't sell yourself short. Whatever you wish to do, whatever you have passion for, don't let fear stop you, because you have the power in you. And if all you want to do is to be a homemaker, a mother to your children, it is enough. Well enough. There was a point in time I wasn't doing anything. I was with my children. I was fulfilled because I was achieving what I wanted to achieve. So it's not about being famous. It's not about having so much money. It's not about, you know, being out there, but it's about not selling yourself short. You have that power. Whatever you want to do, you have the power in you. So do not compare yourself to Miss Fatima. You are not Miss Fatima. You may be the same age, you may have studied the same subject, but you are not her. You don't have the same strengths, you don't have the same weaknesses. So don't compare yourself. Next slide, please. Ah, nice one. Choose your circle. Choose your circle. Be around positive people. And I love this circle of 1 million teacher black girls. This is just the best place to be because there's no day we have a meeting that I'm not motivated. For you to finish this course, you're a special breed. But then it's not only about ability, it's also about psychology. Be around people that will support you and motivate you. Some people will be there to tell you that you're wasting your time. Like, you want to start online teaching you. When all the American teachers are not finished getting students, don't listen to them. Those naysayers, don't stay. Once you find someone always being negative, they're going to pass on their negativity to you. You need to stay away from them. There's a saying, it's of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but it's a bit apt here. He says that if you move with someone that sells perfume, he may give you perfume, or at least you benefit from the smell of that perfume. But if you move with a blacksmith, someone that is always blowing the bellows, you are sure to start smelling of smoke. So choose your circle wisely. Choose like-minded people that are ready to grow, that are ready to explore their own power. Because if you want to explore your power, but you are moving with people that choose mediocrity, they're not going to allow you to grow. Next slide, please. Aha, posture matters. Now, I've tried this and it works for me, and that's why I'm sharing it. A lot of times, posture physically and the way we put ourselves reflects on us. So a lot of us as teachers, people look down on us, and unfortunately, we look down on ourselves. We don't dress well. We don't carry ourselves with poise and confidence. I mean, if you're slouching, people are going to approach you like that. But all of us don't allow our voices to be heard. When the people are talking, everybody is saying, "Oh, I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, I'm an engineer," you probably keep quiet. But if you are proud to raise your head high and say, "I'm a teacher, I'm an educator," if you want to give it a fancy name, go ahead. But position yourself to be reckoned with. That will help you with your confidence, and that will bring out the power in you. And then physically, I can't remember the books I've read it, but I know it's something that has been researched. There's something that is called the power pose. So for example, if you want to go into an interview and you're feeling jittery, we've been advised to just go into the bathroom, stand in front of a mirror. Even if you don't have a mirror, stand up and just stretch yourself, show your strength, feel the strength, stand strong. And that strength actually becomes internalized. So posture matters. The way you dress matters. The way you carry yourself matters. The way you think about yourself matters. Do you think about yourself as a poor teacher? I'm a poor teacher. Teachers, we are poor. It's not about the money. We may not have a lot of money now, but we need to carry ourselves as if we're richer than those with millions. Because I know I'm rich in character. I know I'm rich in knowledge. So even if you're a politician that has bags of money, you're not as rich as I am. And I cannot be cowered by you. That is, I cannot feel inferior because you are there. You can't look down on me. Even if you try, it's not working because I believe in myself and I've postured myself to match you or even to supersede you if I want. So please, posture does matter. How do you walk? Do you slouch? Do you drag your feet? And this is important. We are teachers. Our children are learning from us. They see us and they're like, I don't want to be like Mr. Lagbaja, even the way he walks. See how the musicians carry themselves with swag. Now, I don't mean that we should bounce, but there's a way you're going to carry yourself that a child will look at, I want to be like this. And when you ask them, it's about the carriage, it's about the speech, it's about the poise. So posture does matter. Next, please. Aha, another interesting one. And I think it's the second to the last one. You need to explore yourself. You need to know yourself. And I have asked a few questions today that I hope have helped us to think deeper. And I'm happy this is coming right after a series of lectures that have been helping us to think. Mr. Hero, when he was telling us about becoming a millionaire teacher, got us thinking. The last lecture with Mary, the purposepreneur, got us thinking. Her series of lectures got us thinking. So you need to think more. You need to be self-aware. What exactly are those powers that are hidden in you? What are you hiding there? Bring them out. Bring them out one at a time. Bring them out when you want, but be ready. What are your strengths? That is part of exploring yourself. What are your weaknesses? What are your triggers? Are there things that trigger you? Hopefully, I know we had something on emotional intelligence, but it's something I wish we would discuss a bit more. So maybe I'll be back to talk about that, or somebody else will be here to talk about that. But what are your emotions? What influences your emotions? Who are you? What are your best times for working? Thank you. Thursday is always a delight because we get to learn new things. We get to explore. We're always busy. Sometimes we don't even have time to calm down and really think. So explore that mind. Explore your ideas. There's no foolish idea. Bring out that idea. Bring out that idea. You can refine it as it goes. There's nothing that is too stupid to start. And our brain sprouting has prepared us for that. Brain sprout, dump all of them, bring everything out, join them together, take them apart, and you'll be surprised what you can come up with. So do take time to be mindful, to meditate, to think about yourself, about your surroundings, about the power you have and what you have to offer the world. Next slide, please. Aha, this is the last slide. And this is something that also works for me. Some of these things work more for people than others, but affirmations. When you say something often enough, you start to believe in it, and then it becomes true. And this is also the same for negative thoughts. So let's go positive. Yes, thank you, Nafisa, my beautiful mentee. We must think critically. Yes, Inga Shivanja, I hope I pronounced that correctly. Yes, acquiring information, knowledge. Thank you. Exposure, training. Yes, beautiful. So when you know your weaknesses, what can you do? Do you need more training? Do you need more exposure? When you know your strengths, what can you do? Because sometimes we have strengths, but we don't even know how to apply them. Do you need a mentor to help you out? Do you need to refine those strengths? Yes. Thank you very much. So affirmations, positive things about ourselves. So I want us, we're all gonna type 2 affirmations in the chat. There are some here, they may apply to you and they may not, but I want us to try to come up with our own. The first thing I want everybody to type in the chat is I am powerful. And I'm gonna start typing mine. Please type it and say it out loud as you're typing. Don't mind anybody in the room listening to you. Just say it out loud. I am powerful. I'm gonna put an exclamation mark on mine. Oh, I love this. Thank you, Amina. I love that. Aha, thank you, Damilola. Thank you, Victoria. Yes, I am powerful. Thank you, Nafisa. Thank you, Adira. Thank you. That is it. Thank you, Miss Fatima. We are, Mr. Smart, in caps, and with the muscle too. Super powerful. Okay, yes, Marco, thank you. Baba DJ, thank you. Triple exclamation mark. Yes, please. I hope we're saying it out loud. Wherever you are. Don't mind that you're in the bus. Say it. Let them hear you. Let them look at you with that side eye. Doesn't matter. I am. Oh, who is this? Yes, thank you. CO. I need to get this name. Cynthia. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Beautiful. So that's the first affirmation. I'm happy we've all shared it. The second affirmation, I will leave it to you. Just choose one. Choose one. You can borrow from the ones I have on the slides, or you can create your own. I am positive always. I am a goal setter. Thank you. Proud to be powerful. Thank you, Evans. I'm seeing beautiful. People have started putting it. So put your second affirmations in the chat. If you're not comfortable putting it in the chat, it's fine. Put it in your jotter. Put it somewhere. You should write it on a big piece of paper and paste it somewhere on your wall where you can see it every morning. I am optimistic. I am special. Yes, Faith, you are. You are special. Yes. I set goals and I achieve goals. Yes. Thank you. I can always improve. We can. I inspire others. Awesome. Yes. Thank you, Adira. Yes, yes, yes. I am unstoppable. So some people are giving us multiple here. Thank you. I am resilient. You are an amazing teacher. Ooh, thank you. Thank you. I'm also motivated with all of these words, and I will borrow some of your good affirmations for myself. So we all are powerful. We have power within us. We just need to bring it out. I am a winner. Yes, you are, Harry. You are a winner. You are a winner. But today you are capable. You can do everything, Janet. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Thank you. Thank you. It's been an awesome time. I mean, that is all that she wants. Yes, you can be all that you want to be. Well done. You are. Thank you very, very much. I will stop here. Thank you, Miss Fatima, for having me. It's been an awesome time.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Rasheedah. I didn't want you to stop. I wanted you to go on and on. It was so awesome. Awesome. Really, really fantastic. I don't know, a couple of months ago, there was this song going around on the internet saying, I am a winner over poverty. So, I don't know if you heard that, and that's what this reminds me of. I am a winner over sorrow. I am a winner over death. No weapon fashioned against me shall prosper. So positivity, positive affirmations, believing in yourself. You've really empowered us this evening. Thank you so much. Thank you. That was wonderful. Thank you so much. And like I said at the beginning, we encourage other teachers to take the platform and share wonderful things like Rasheedah just did. And the beautiful thing is that it's reminding us of all the things we learned along the way to becoming black belts. We did the mindset. One of the first things that you learn is about being a teacher. Why are you a teacher? The heart of the teacher, the positive mindset, the emotional intelligence, and so on and so on. So it's like you've revised everything with us. Thank you. It was wonderful. I don't know if anybody has any other questions. I can see Mr. Hakeem has been there quietly. I don't know if he wants to say anything. Thank you, Rasheedah. I really, really appreciate your time. I have learned so much. I've really learned so much. And a lot of it, hit home, especially about the writing as well. I think I told you when I read your book that, you've really motivated me. And I think I'm going to take your advice now and get on with my writing, and hopefully, God willing, I will write that book. Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you.
Fatima, I just want to
give us some closing remarks, Mr. Hakeem.
I don't know about closing remark. I'm just blown away by this presentation. Like I was in transit and I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I just got into my place. I'm in the UK now. I arrived this morning. So just settling in at the hotel, and I'm like, wow, I'm glad I made this. It's Rasheedah, honestly, you just continue to blow our minds. Thank you so much for this powerful presentation. I hope we can share the video with those who are not here today. And I would really like to watch it.
Yeah. I will. Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
So I guess time is up, or isn't it? I lost track of time.
Yeah, it is past 6 o'clock, but because we're enjoying it, we don't want...
I actually have another meeting. I'm supposed to
Okay, you have another meeting. Okay, we'll let you off. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All right, then. Okay.
Bye. Okay, remember then. We are powerful. I think we should unmute. Can we all just unmute and say that? I am powerful. I'd like
powerful. I am powerful.
I am powerful.
I am powerful.
I am powerful. We are empowered. Rasheedah has empowered us.
I am powerful.
I'm powerful with the right position.
I am powerful.
We are powerful. Thank you very much.
I am powerful.
All right, then. Till next week. Have a nice evening. Bye, everyone.
Thanks so much. Bye.
Bye-bye.